Peace and blessing, yo. Peace and blessings. I just got back. Yeah, I was going in, but my connection got interrupted. You know what I'm saying? So I'm back on here again. Peace, Devante. Peace and blessings to you, bro. Just got interrupted. I guess I was on my phone data, what they call it. You know what I'm saying? Not on the Wi-Fi, but phone data. Anyway, so, just wanted to, I'm testing the connections here again. You know what I'm saying? I'm back. Mi hermano, Bando, peace and blessings to you, papi. All and blessings to you. And like I was saying, when you got all this, you got knowledge, you know what I'm saying? You could teach, you can share a lot of it, but then what are you doing to actually make it a reality, practicality? You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't want to be accused of that. Of saying, oh, you sharing this, you doing that, but what are you doing for the benefit of humanity? What are you doing for the benefit of your family, humanity, your tribe, people? Can people come to you for any assistance in terms of economic assistance? Can you go into neighborhoods, and as you teach, can you also bring economic assistance? You know what I'm saying, and share that? And that's what it's really about. You know what I'm saying? So I merged with I've been part of, for 41 years, I've been part of a community that we taught. We share knowledge, we were taught. And then we created villages, we created, land and universities, institutions and stuff like that. So, been part of it, living like that. And now with the African Kingdom Federation, again, when I mentioned African Kingdom Federation, what's happening with that is, again, you know what I'm saying, I'm going through the protocols, learning about global governments, learning about kingdoms and queens and queendoms and kingdoms and chiefs and throughout all the governments throughout the world, and how to conduct yourself properly. At the same time, have the backing of your federation. Excuse me one second. Of your federation, having the backing, monetary backing. There's a budget, monetary backing, so you could bring initiative and agendas and initiative to your community and to people that's going to need it. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. You can go out there and teach and holler, but you don't have no economic basis. And that's why I question. Also, I love my Hebrew Israelite brothers, see what they do. Hey, it's so cool. It's cute. We've been through that school. I'm a Nubian Islamic Hebrew, the Milatu Ibrahim, which is a combination of both. You know what I'm saying? Recognizing, in biblical texts, Ishmael and Israel and Ishmaelites. You know what I'm saying? Recognizing that. You know what I'm saying? So we became Nubian Islamic Hebrew. But again, offers schools. What economic base? What a landmass. You can go out there. You can go out there into the prisons. Help reform. Again, you're sharing things. You can go out there and do food drives, homeless, and stuff like that. You can do all that stuff. That's cute for now. You know what I'm saying? But creating a university where somebody can learn certain skills so they can go out and earn a living, so they can become better contributors to their environment, better contributors to the community, and at the same time to humanity. What are you offering? Where is that at? You know what I'm saying? So in the African Kingdom Federation, we're building a university. Like we've built, Sabaeans built universities, institutions and universities. There are institution university that was built here in America, by certain groups. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue on further and further and further. But it seems to me that, I had to look and see, okay, you spitting this game, you're talking about this, you're talking about this knowledge, whatever, but what economically, what can you build? A foundation, that's the root. That's the root of it. It's echo, habitat, right? Habitat environment. It's an echo. You know what I'm saying? That's to sustain our legacy, sustain our families, sustain our communities, sustain humanity through economics. You know what I'm saying? Very important. So, you got all these billionaires got together and formed the World Economic Forum. You know what I'm saying? Where they have this forum that they discuss world economics and stuff like that. And so you got to give it to them. They're doing what they got to do. And they have foundations that they go into certain universities, right? And offer scholarships, stipends to many individuals that want to study, the lawyers, scholarships. You know what I'm saying? So what are we doing to create scholarships, you know what I'm saying, for our youth that is going to have our interests as a people and make sure that they have the interests of humanity, natural nature. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? So more and more and more, yeah, like I said, as you share the knowledge and this and this and that, at the same time, you're showing the work. You're showing the work. Like I said, I'm not the only one. There's many of us doing it for 41 years. Many of us that have been part of an organization, part of a movement that has set institutions, that has set schools, and has set economic base. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we're studying the Sabiic language. Very important because that's a language that predates a lot of other language. Arabic and then predates even Israel. Paleo-Hebrew. Hebrew is a language, right? Ashuric and Aramaic. Comes out of that. You know what I'm saying? So you become very well versed in it. You know what I'm saying? You can offer this language and tones. Remember, to change the mind of the people, you got to change the way they think. And we think in tones and language. You know what I'm saying? So to clean that up, to stop thinking so detrimental. It's not to think bad about English or French. Whatever you speak, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I speak Spanish. I'm learning a little bit of French. I speak Spanish. You know what I'm saying? I speak English. All cool. But I'm also speaking Sabiic. Mispati al-Hajj. Right? I'm learning how to speak that. I'm learning how to communicate with that. Very, very important. You know what I'm saying? So that's practicality, showing work. In order for us to strengthen ourselves, we have to look at linguistics. We also have to look at anthropology. You know what I'm saying? We have to connect those dots. We got to get back to the center of things, Like I always say, we got to get back to the center of things. So I'm so honored and happy, to be part of the African Kingdom Federation. There's much, much to learn. If one thing I'm going to learn from that is how to conduct myself in protocol in front of head of states, government officials and head of state, how to conduct myself. That's very important. And how parliaments are made and how they structure, how parliaments are structured, how government, how world government are structured. That's very, very, very important for us. It's something that we did since ancient time. So we got to, it's something to consider. It's something to be, to consider it, involve yourself with, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely appreciative of those of you that gave me an ear. And I'm going to do my best. I'm definitely doing my best to share with those, thoughts, ideas, and also feelings. Because a lot of times at the end of the day, those feelings and those emotions create your habits and your paradigms. You know what I'm saying? I also struggle. As your brother, I also struggle with a lot of my feelings and my emotions. Things are not, there's so much challenges, you know what I'm saying? But you have to be willing to take those challenges and tackle, wrestle, right? That's the whole thing about Israelite too. Wrestle with these angels, tackle and ascend. You know what I'm saying? You have to be willing to do that also. That's the principle of Heru, the falcon, over the storm. You have to be able to fly over the drama and the storms and stuff like that. So we have so much drama. We have so much storms. We're caught up in this whole whirlwind. And that spirit, you know what I'm saying? We're caught up in a lot of the spirit ideas and concept. and we're not paying attention to the feelings and emotions. Sometimes those feelings and emotion, when they come out, they just come out so abrupt. You know what I'm saying? And not centered. We have to center it. Those emotions and those feelings has to be centered. It's about the soul, saving the soul of saving the soul of our babies, saving the soul of our future. To say that we're going to be center ourselves. The first thing is to definitely stand to reason that the center of this multiverse galaxy, of our existence, of nature, is that womb. That womb in the center of the galaxy. There's a womb. That womb, what we call that where there's triple darkness, and then there's a form of chaotic. It's chaos at first, but then it becomes order. You have to take the formless and bring it into form. That's our magic. It's taking that chaos and putting it into order. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's at. That's mind power. You know what I'm saying? You know? And that's where it's at. And that's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? You know. Anyway, I just made this very short, maybe 15 minutes, because I already did a stream on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And but before I go, I just wanted to mention one thing. Maybe I'll do this tomorrow. This is from the Investopedia, and this is called Guide to Investing in Psychology. What is behavioral finance? Behavioral economics. I find it very interesting. Let me see if I could share this screen just very briefly. Let me share this. Let me see. Where would I find it at? Let me see. Do I find it here? Yeah. Check this out. So this is what is behavioral finance. Behavioral finance, a subfield of behavioral economics. There's a behavior. So the purpose proposes that psychological influences and biases affect the financial behavior of investors and financial practitioners. Moreover, influences and biases can be a source of explanation of all types of market anomalies, and specifically market anomalies in stock markets, such as severe rises and falls in stock prices. That's just talking about stocks and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a behavioral finance is an area of study focused on how psychological influence can affect market outcomes. I found that very interesting, and I just wanted to put it out there. Behavior science can be analyzed to understand different outcomes across a variety of sectors and industries. One of the key aspects of behavioral finance study is the influence of psychological biases. I find it very interesting, and let me see if we can maybe later on go over this. The concept, behavioral finance typically encompasses 5 main concepts. I'm just going to drop this up here very quickly, and just to kill a little time over here. We got mental accounting. Mental accounting refers to the propensity of people to allocate money for a specific purpose. Mental accounting. Herd behavior. Herd behavior states that people tend to mimic the financial behavior of the majority of the herd. Herding is notorious in the stock market as a cause behind dramatic rallies and sell-offs. Emotional gap. That's emotional gap refers to decision making based on extreme emotion, the emotional strains such as anxiety, anger, fear, and excitement. Oftentimes, emotions are the key reason why people do not make rational choices. You hear that? Emotions, that's the key reason why people do not make rational choices. And you have anchoring, refers to the attaching of spending level to a certain reference. Now, example may include spending consistently based on the budget level, or rationalizing spending based on different satisfaction utilities. Self-attributions. Self-attribution refers to a tendency to make choices based on overconfidence in one's own knowledge or skill. Self-attributions usually stem from intrinsic knack in a particular area. Within this category, individuals tend to rank their knowledge higher than others, even when it's objectively falls short. So I just found that very interesting. Another thing that I found interesting, and that's from the forum, Divine Order, and that is from here. Let me share this screen here. real quickly. Let me see. Is this here? Is why we need a global view of human behavior. You know what I'm saying? We're now transcending. We're thinking about human behavior now. Earlier this month, the World Bank released its World Development Report, and this was only in 2015. They released a World Development Report on the topic of mind, society, and behavior. So they're watching the way our minds, our society, and our behavior. And findings were threefold: that people think automatically, they think socially, they develop mental models to better understand their environment. We want to understand our environment. That's our echo. Remember echo, the definitions for echo is habitat and environment. There are plenty of examples for the first two findings. Have you ever made a decision based on a gut feeling or intuition when it's just felt like the right choice? Most of us are also familiar with the power of social influence. In a world of Instagram, WhatsApp app, ice bucket challenges, our social norms, and now part of identity. I laugh with the ice bucket challenge because I did it. It was a movement, so I did it. Also, but I'll tell you something. When the whole thing popped off and people was running out getting the toilet papers and stuff like that, and going chaotic buying of that. You didn't see me doing that. I said, oh hell no. You know what I'm saying? But that's again social influences. The third finding, however, may be a surprise to many people, including those who study behavior economics. The culture in which we grow up. Culture, the cultivating of your nature, the cultivating of your condition. This can have an implication for the way we interact with the world. For example, research conducted between German mothers and Cameroonians, Nisu mothers, show that German babies receive more face-to-face interaction. Babies in German are often carried facing the parents and are better at distinguishing facial expressions up to a certain age, compared with Cameroonians, Niso baby, who are carried facing outwards and are quicker to develop motor skills and a greater sense of community. Interesting. Now, the World Development, the WDR in 2015, the report notes that mental models provide with default assumptions about the people we interact with and the situation we face. However, because of the scope of the report, the reader may be left thinking that mental models are only different between developing and developed society. This is not the case, of course. In a study similar to the one above, American mothers were found to spend twice as much time interacting face-to-face with their child than Japanese mothers. It's important to keep in mind that just because a mental model is different from our own, that does not mean it is more or less efficient. Okay? We get that out of our mind. Okay? Again, culture, cultivating the nature, cultivating the conditions. And that it deals a lot with economics, habitat, and environments, right? As we grow older, we take our views of the world for granted. It's hard to imagine thinking about time and space, such abstract concept. In other words, other than the way we are used to. But anthropologists and cross-cultural psychologists have been observing these differences in mental models for decades. They are doing the research. The way people describe colors and understand space and categorize objects or even reasons can vary from culture to culture. Cole and Scribner is a series of cross-cultural studies look at the effect of formal schooling and informal education and conclude that while formal schooling improves logical reasoning, informal education is just as important. It is not more important for practical tasks in daily life. Okay? There's got to be a balance between, again, formal schooling and also very informal schooling. The WDR, the report highlights mental models that seem to correlate with poverty because they are out of sync with the real world. Look at that. Poverty because they're out of sync with the real world. The different models discussed as presented as problems that may be corrected using insight from behavioral economics. Very important. I imagine this is due to the report's focus on development. But it might have been better to know that not all mental models found within developing countries are out of sync with the real world, even if they're out of sync with the developed world. In much of the behavioral science literature today, nearly 96% of participants studied are from weird nations, Western educated, or from industrialized, rich, democratic nation. By studying human behavior and decision making through models observed in the US and Western Europe, we run the risk of developing theories that fail to describe the most of the world's people. That's how I like to study. I like to study the economic behavior of the Federation. That's very important. And how the African Kingdom Federation has a way of developing that behavior economics very at the core of it. Very, very important. Whenever a person or organization attempts to challenge a particular behavior, it's important to understand and diagnose the problem. Context is important in understanding behavior. Context. And companies using behavior science approaches tend to account for cultural context when they use control experiments specific to the problem they're addressing. They get into this think tank, and they look at the problems, and they get, a luxury often not enjoyed by academics under pressure to publish generalized findings and which limited participant pool. By working with local experts to design the experiments and develop interventions, behavior changes is possible and often successful. Working with local experts to design experiments and develop the intervention. Now, however, when it comes to interpreting the result, economics and professionals are left to rely on prior theory, which has been tested, peer-reviewed, and published, all in a weird context. I can go on and on and on. This is a very good. Well, we're almost close. Let me finish here. The behavior economics industry will likely play an invaluable role in the future of the field because their methodology is often on a par with economic labs. However, their topics are more diverse and their projects are more specific in the problem they're addressing. As behavior consulting companies expand to various countries, there is an opportunity to update understanding of decision making by publishing their results in an economic journal. Testing accepted theories in cross-cultural contexts and developing new theories from a global perspective. Okay, academic labs should also work to increase international partnerships. There's economic labs. The cost of running large-scale cross-national experiments is decreasing, and global data sets are becoming more accessible because of the fourth industrial revolution. We're gaining more of this data. Not all studies require cross-cultural sample, but those that claim to describe human behavior should test their hypothesis through diverse mental models. The World Bank report highlights the importance of looking abroad as well as the home to get a fuller picture of the human behavior. It may be that the most impactful world development report they publish, and it will likely spark many conversations and projects. But the focus should not be limited to comparing the world's poorer nation to industrialized societies. No. Context is important in understanding decisions and behavior, and culture is a part of context that can't be overlooked. We gotta look at our culture. We gotta see what is, you know what I'm saying? Many of us had dumbed down our culture. The act of cultivating our conditions has been dumbed down, and we lost it. You know what I'm saying? We're losing it, but we're not looking at the impact that it has on our economy, on our habitat and our environment, especially in the economic sector. You know what I'm saying? In the global economic sector, and how important that is. You know what I'm saying? Globally. You know what I'm saying? So again, these are from the World Economic Forum. You know what I'm saying? And this is why we need a global view of human behavior. And we need it because as we go out as ambassadors and we go out to the initiatives and setting the initiative agenda, we need to look at the statistic. We need to look at things and say, how beneficial can this be to a community? You know what I'm saying? That's at the core of it. You know what I'm saying? That's at the core of it. So there's a lot of work to be done, y'all. A lot of work to be done. You know, I'm hoping that we all. Let me read this. Thanks. I believe conformity is the issue here. Yes, it is very true. If you look at many research papers, they always have low people of color samples in the studies. That is true. That's why we have to do our own studies. Yeah, we have to do our own studies. The problem is that most of the research tier university has access to big funding and grants to be have international participant. True, but that's changing. That's in the past. Again, things are changing. Again, that's the reason I'm telling you. Involve African Kingdom Federation where we have the fundings, okay, the funding to have these grants and these fundings, to set our universities, our stipends, those scholarships, our funding, so that you become international participant in a lot of this stuff. Very, very, very important. Very important. So yeah, I agree. You know, I agree. At the same time, I'm letting you know that there's a change. There's a reset of things. There's a reset of things, and we have to put those wheels in motions. You have to consider these things and look at the wheel in motion. We have to see how the global economy, how they're operating, and we have to see, because a lot of the times they're going into, again, a lot of these nations are poor. Africa have a lot of resources, but then Africa don't control a lot of those resources. You know that the kingships and the lineages and the tribes are being plundered. You know what I'm saying? So we want to create that federation where we're protecting those resources and we're offering it also to the diaspora. You know what I'm saying? It's a great idea. It's a reality. If you look at it like that, it's going to be a reality. Because again, civilization reset and changes. And this, remember, the Ma Federation extended way out and was very successful in the Nile Valley. You know what I'm saying? Now to the continuation of that, you know what I'm saying? We had a disruption in that. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with the nature of nature, we had a disruption in that. And I don't want to, talk about too bad about religion, things like that. And this is not the conversation we're going to have. But again, that help in plundering, that help in keeping us enslaved and conquered is certain religious narratives that was brought out to these continent, to these tribes that became countries in Africa and the diaspora, the Caribbean, Latin America, all over, even in Europe. You know what I'm saying? So now we have to correct that. We really, really have to correct that if we want to see something going forward. We want to go forward for the legacy of our family, tribe, and legacy for humanity. Because if we don't, we're heading into a bad road. When the catastrophic events starts escalating, we're going to get caught up in it. We're going to get caught up in that whirlwind. We're going to get caught up. You know what I'm saying? We have to secure ourselves, secure that cultural practice, secure, because that's going to help, again, the cultivating of that environment, of that condition is going to help our habitat and our environment, because that's part of it. It's part of culture, and a lot of it also has to do with linguistic, our tongue, our language. Very, very important, how we have to go back and study and continue the study of linguistics. Continues the study of anthropology also. You know what I'm saying? Of studying how man is evolving and revolving back in the origination of man. You know what I'm saying? Or what happened, and study. You know what I'm saying? All of this is to be considered. All of this is part of economics. All of it is part of economics. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, good points here. Good points. So yeah, that was from the World Economic Forum. I'm just letting you know how that particular forum is thinking of the think tank, what they're doing, and how we're setting ourselves. And we're participating in the sense that we're coming with our ideas, our feelings, our emotions, our habitats and environment, and protecting that. You know what I'm saying? That's all needs to be said. You You know what I'm saying? Very important work that's being done. Again, very important work that's being done in these global civilizations. Global settings and global forums. You know what I'm saying? It's just being said. Anyway, I've already been here half an hour. I thank you all. And peace. And so I'm going to end it here. And again, let me see. Today's Monday. So the recapping, man. I mean, the Imperial Majesty Kasambu. I just dropped some very good gems. Um, it's wonderful. You know what I'm saying? I will definitely enjoyed it. Now enjoy and learn so much from it. It just inspired. It's very inspirational. The aspiration is there, and then it helped establishing certain feelings and certain emotions, so as to create your habitual self to better yourself. So, end of the day, I want to better myself. I want to better my family. I want to better my tribe. I want to better, humanity. You know what I'm saying? Because I got a lot to lose. A lot to lose. I got legacy to lose. I got grandchildren. I'm going to have great grandchildren. On and on and on. A lot to lose. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that they get a fair chance at things. You know what I'm saying? And you should also think like that. You know what I'm saying? And again, what is there else there to do? You know what I'm saying? Create havoc, create chaos. You know what I'm saying? It's not the way to go. It's not. We can argue about things. We can have all these debates and whatever. And at the end of the day, you ask yourself, what is, okay, so we're ironing out differences here. Then when you get caught up with a debate and an argument with people that they don't want to change, they don't want to help, they don't want to consider, you have to ask them the proper questions. You got to make them think. Some of them hate to think. Their animalistic ways take over. They just don't want to think. They're instinctive. It's okay. But you know something? You're going to be conquered. You're going to be constantly enslaved. You know what I'm saying? You're going to miss the boat, yo. You know what I'm saying? You're going to miss the boat. So again, it's moving forward. Okay? So, what time is it? It's 9 o'clock. So for those of you, you can stay if you want, but I'm going to chant. I'm practicing my chant. I have to do my chant. Okay? Hold 1 second. Let me bring this down. Okay? Because all of the end of the day is about linguistics. Again, linguistics and knowing. I should bring it up on screen. Here it is. See? Should be seeing that. Patakyud. Hanukai Yawif Pa Shukim Pa Paut. Okale Ashukawon Yawif Nia. Hanukai Kwasang Impa Paut. Upa Paut Kawon Kwasang Imnia. Hanukai Waho Ame Pa Paut. Upa Paut Kawon Waho Ame Nia. Nakakodor Najo Ame Kwasang Impa Paut. Wahab Ame Mushklas Nakukador Kawon Kalif Pafif Nakukadur Dayor Jawif Papaut Ame Wasa Ame Dayar Ni Kawun Lake Bakoy Jawif Papaut Hanuk Yabe Baina Fashni Papaut Kawun Anukai Papaut Kwadur Nakuk Kwadur Papaut Amul Nakuk Amur Amul And that is, I'm in the divine love of the all expanding, and the all divine love is in me. I am part of the all expanding, and the all expanding is part of me. I am one as the all expanding, and the all expanding is one as me. I can succeed as part of the all expanding and fail as an individual person. I can be all that I want in the all expanding. As long as my want is to stay in the all expanding, I'm never by myself. The all expanding is I am. The all expanding can, I can. The all expanding does, I do. Okay? I'll leave it there for now. Okay? I'll leave it there for now. So, again, give me a second. Bring you back up. And, let's see. Okay. Beautiful to hear the native tongue. Yeah. Frank White. Frank White. Yeah, that's the Sabaik. Saba. Saba. You know what I'm saying? Mispatia Lahaj. And yeah, that's a native tongue. Comes from the Nile Valley. Nile Valley. Okay. So anyway, all investing to everyone. And that is my presentation. Short presentation. And I see you tomorrow. I see you tomorrow. And all good. Let me play my exit out. And peace.